Tonight on the Black Channel, when you put their backs against the wall, the white supremacists finally come out and tell you the real thing. The Black Channel is live. Unapologetic, unadulterated, and absolutely uncompromising. Greetings, brothers and sisters from around the world, and welcome back to the home, the haven, the stronghold, and the everlasting superfortress of intelligent black thought. We are the Black Media, and this is the Black Channel. And I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the voice of Black America, the Black Authority, broadcasting to you live from the only historically black college and university of higher education and learning in the cosmos. You are, of course, welcome to join us. And join us you shall, because on tonight's program here, I want to do a deep dive into this tonight. I want to do a deep dive into this because I want to show you exactly what you're dealing with and what you're up against here. And we need to have these conversations where we remind ourselves of exactly where our feet fall and exactly where the society stands on us as black people. As you all may have heard here earlier this week, Daniel Penny, who the media, the police state, the courts, YouTube, everybody else was defending him last week to try to prevent the world from seeing who and what he was. They were trying to make sure nobody got any information about him at all. They tried to do it in the internet age as practically impossible. So what you find out they were doing was trying to give themselves enough room to try to get themselves prepared to fight, was what we find out they were doing. Now we're seeing what the strategy was and what the strategy is. So Daniel Penny, he got released on next to nothing here, $100,000 bail. Strangles somebody to death, chokes him to death over the course of 15 minutes. And all he gets is a $100,000 bail. So essentially, they're letting you know this is a public lynching. And the system is making it clear, it is signaling to everyone else involved whose side they're taking. They're making it clear to everyone else involved whose side they come down on this on. Because that's how you signal to the society how they should respond. When you make it clear who the government and the establishment are standing behind. So Daniel Penny, I want to go ahead and show you the story here. And then I want to show you some others. Because I want to show you what was happening on my Twitter page. Now, I put up a tweet here, and this tweet so far has gotten over 149,000 views, and the white supremacists are there, and they are livid. So if you haven't been to my Twitter page, you can go and check that out. The white supremacists are livid. The white supremacists are incensed. The white supremacists are beside themselves. They are enraged. And you take a look through the comments section, and they're making it very clear that this is about white supremacy. It's not about justice. What I did was I sat up here and showed you that, by the way, two individuals here with that same kind of white supremacist suspect shoe style, black shoes with white laces, we showed the invoices, and boy, they were angry. They were angry in the comments section. We'll come back to this one here in a moment. They were angry in the comment section. They were upset. These are a bunch of folk I don't know, never seen before. They don't follow me, but they got big numbers. These are Twitter folk. Some of them got some big numbers here. Some of them got some large followings. Letting you know that we are here to support the lynching. These are individuals here to let you know we're supporting the lynching. Now, as you can see this, on here. I put up here, the arrest of Daniel Penny has a lot of people asking, why does his footwear look the same as the Latino white supremacist who shot up the mall in Allen, Texas? Man, they're panicking. They started panicking. That was all I posted. That was all I put up, and they started panicking. All I did was say, why are their shoelaces the same? Why they got the same footwear? And take a look at them, playing dumb. This clown here, no one is asking that. No one, when literally the post has 892 likes. No one's asking that, but it has 149,000 views and 892 likes. 19 bookmarks, 402 retweets, 135 quotes. Clearly, a large number of people are asking the question. Very clearly, a large number are. But remember, when white supremacists are losing, they will go to work and say, well, we can rewrite reality. We're white. We say so. Adam Klein. This is a nice Jewish name, but Mr. Klein, by the way, seems to be anti-black. Perhaps we should ask some questions about why Mr. Klein is sounding anti-black here. Mr. Klein will be glad to, you're totally welcome to call us up. Totally welcome to give us a call. I don't know who this guy is here. I have no idea. He looks like a MAGA mutt, but okay. They're upset about it. They're upset about it. Take a look at all these blue check marks on Twitter. They probably paid their $8 a month. They're paying their $8 a month. I mean, 262 followers, buddy. You're paying $8 a month for that. You're paying $8 a month for that. Folks, why are there this many white supremacists coming to my page on this one post? Shout out to Raheem Shabazz. He explained what it was there. But they already knew that. They already knew that. The white supremacists understand this, folks. They're not stupid. Oh, they sell more than one pair of shoes. They know it's not about the shoes. They know it's about the laces. They understand it. They're here to try to play dumb with you because this is what they do. We'll just play dumb with you. Oh, what does that mean? We're not sure. I mean, how do you know? They made more than one pair of shoes. Oh, it doesn't really mean that. Now, with black folk, if you got the same hoodies on, they swear you're a gang. If you're wearing the same hoodies and you're on opposite ends of the country, they'll swear that you're a gang. They'll swear you're a gang. Awake, not woke. So he's paid for a. By the way, there were quite a number of white supremacists and suspected white supremacist females. There were quite a number of suspected white supremacist females who showed up on this post. I found that to be very telling. They're locking arms with the white supremacist males. There's a number of them. They're locking arms on this. They're letting you know we are Team WS. By the way, nobody debunked it. Nobody anything. Nobody debunked it. So just understand, they're not stupid. They get it. They understand that. This is absolutely hyperbole, by the way. That's absolutely hyperbole. I don't know who the hell this guy is. I have no idea who the hell this is. Okay, he's a syndicated talk show. By the way, they're big mad at me. Don't y'all see? Syndicated talk show people. One guy claimed he's a sports announcer. I mean, these are hardcore professional white supremacists here. I think this name is kind of familiar, this Joe Pags guy. I think he's kind of familiar, but obviously it's a right-wing white supremacist, so. But yeah, there you go. When they take a L, they're mad as hell. Do y'all see that? When they take a L, they're mad as hell. They're mad as hell. Who the hell are you? They pay for all these blue check marks, so Elon's getting his money out of them. Elon's getting his money out of them. Take a look at all these blue check marks that all swarmed at the same time. What does this tell you? That the message has gone out that they all need to get on code. That they are here to defend the white supremacist oligarchy. This is George Zimmerman all over again. Take a look at this room here. Latino white supremacist. Well, yeah, the Latino said he was a white supremacist. So you notice even after it's been proven, ain't no Latino white supremacist. He clearly said he was. Clearly said he was. Another female white supremacist, apparently. Paying for a blue check mark for 192 followers. A blue check mark for 192 followers. Do you all see all the blue check marks here? So what this tells you is that somebody said, hey, we all got to go jump on this TBA Twitter page. Everybody get on code. Everyone rally over there. By the way, psychopathic albino wino. Someone tell me if this looks like an albino to you. Certainly looks like, what's her name? Khloe Kardashian. Looks like Khloe Kardashian, but it doesn't look like an albino. You look like Khloe, but not an albino, so. Another one with a blue check mark. Folks, that Latino white supremacist thing, take a look at how many of them have come to my page specifically to reference that. They came to my page specifically to reference the Latino white supremacist thing. What does that tell you? That tells you that that hit the spot. That tells you that that knocked them down. That tells you that the message got through. That's what it tells you. Our informing people about the Latino white supremacist thing, that got through. They're letting you know those body blows hooked them. They wouldn't be doing all this if the body blows hadn't hooked them. Them body blows hit home. So they can't disprove the shooter was Latino and said he was a white supremacist. The shooter said he was a white supremacist and Latino, and they're sitting up here, Latino white supremacist? Yeah, he's Latino and he said he was a white supremacist. You can't disprove that he said it. You can't disprove that's what he is. So we're white and we say so. We're white, we say so. It's whatever we say it is. Damn, you figured out our secret code. Yes, apparently we did. By the way, y'all see all these blue check marks? You see these blue check marks? Uncertified roof Korean. I think I should start wearing black shoes with white laces. Okay. They understand something. They took a whole bunch of body blows here. They got messed up over it. They are angry as hell. When you got this many blue check marks jumping on my page out of nowhere, angry as they can be, that tells you that somebody sent out the call and told everybody, you better rally over here and get on code. Get over here. We need help. Get over here. They're not stupid. It's their job to be white supremacists. They understand all this is real. By the way, this guy right here, this Asian white supremacist, you got an Asian white supremacist, very, very upset. Very, very upset. If folks want to know we talked about the Latino white supremacists, here are the Asian white supremacists. This is Asian hate, by the way. If you want to know what Asian hate is, this is Asian hate. There it is. So yeah, but they brought out their heavy hitters to come at me. They brought out their heavy hitters to come at me. They brought out their big guns to come at me. They didn't send the small fries. They sent the big guns. Big as they can get. And why? Why'd they do that? Because, folks, they've been on code. They've been on code. Take a look at this here. According to Give, Send, Go, they claim they've raised over $1 million for Daniel Penny's legal defense. He's only been charged with what? Manslaughter? He hadn't even really been charged with what he should be charged with. Not really. And yet, what are they doing? What are they doing? He needs $1 million. He needs $1 million for what? Why does he need that? Why does he need that? Folks, what they're telling you is that they understand that this is a race war. They understand that this is a racial conflict. They understand that this is a racial killing. And what they're doing is saying that after all these years, what happened in the last 5 years, that ain't never supposed to occur. That's never supposed to happen. They're not supposed to look up in 5 years and they're sitting up there getting took out like that. They're not supposed to have that going on. Folks, ever since Trayvon Martin first it started rolling slowly, next thing you know, we get to George Floyd, they go into jail and go into prison left, right, and center. Nobody's getting away. What they're showing you is, okay, we're going to fight to get that pendulum to swing back the other way. If you all agree with what I'm saying here tonight, give me the fire emoji in the chat room and hit the likes button for me. It's over 3,000 people in here listening live. If you all agree with what you're hearing here tonight, give me the fire emoji in the chat room and hit the likes button for me. Unless I got a bunch of Daniel Penny supporters in here, in which case we'll just wrap it up. We have always told you all that white supremacy believes and knows it's got to put its money behind its mission. White supremacy knows you can't win a war on leaves and twigs and thistles. White supremacy knows that you have got to be able to do this. You got to be able to do this. You got to be able to stand firm. And you got to be able to push that thing back the other way. So they're getting open with it. So they think they found a situation where they can say, okay, well, we'll fight this one as being a racial killing. We'll fight that one. They're letting you know this is what we're on, and we're putting the money behind it in just a couple of days. In just a couple of days. Why wouldn't that happen? Take a look. Ron DeSantis, Mr. Faux Latino himself, he's letting you know the race war is on. He's letting you know the race war is on. That's what he's saying. He thinks he's running for president. He's really not, but he thinks he is. He's letting everybody know the race war is on. That he set the groundwork in Florida. If you want to know what he's really been doing in Florida, this is what he's been doing. He's been trying to set the groundwork to make it very clear that this is what we're going to be doing going forward. We're going to kill people. Because white supremacy cannot survive without bodies. White supremacy cannot survive without terrorism. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis lauded Daniel Penny as a, quote, good Samaritan. Did the good Samaritan choke out the man who got beat by the robbers? I don't remember the good Samaritan choking out the man who got beat by the robbers. I don't remember that being the case. Ron DeSantis might want to go back and check and see. He's got that white supremacist version of the Bible. Not even the King James. He's just got the full-blown David Duke version. He doesn't have the Standard Revised version. He's got the David Duke version. He says, we must defeat the Soros-funded DAs, stop the left's pro-criminal agenda, and take back the streets for law-abiding citizens. People, when was the last time that you heard Ron DeSantis talk about a black person being harmed and then say we need to protect law-abiding citizens? I'll wait. Name for me a black person who's been harmed, not in the state of Florida, anywhere, that Ron DeSantis jumped up and said, we need to have their backs. We need to stand up for law-abiding citizens. When has he done that? When? When? I'll wait. When has he done that? He says, we stand with good Samaritans like Daniel Penny, linking his message to a crowdfunding effort, raising money for Penny's defense. So if you all want to know how it is that this thing has over $1 million, and by the way, apparently hasn't reached their goal yet, really? Okay. Has over $1 million, people, you can't get the Congressional Black Caucus. You all can't get the Congressional Black Caucus to stand up for black people and black victims to raise money for anything other than themselves. Ron DeSantis says, hey, pass the hat for white supremacy. And they did it. He said, pass the hat for white supremacy, and they did it. They did it. While the Congressional Black Caucus literally got Jimbo Jangles Clyburn literally sitting up here telling folks about what he ain't gonna do for reparations.
You want to know if you support reparations?
What you say?
You want to know if you support reparations?
I'm sorry?
You want to know if you support reparations?
I support reparations, but other than that name, y'all need to learn what reparations is. Y'all keep talking about a word. It means to repair.
It's cash, being cash payments for all.
Hell no. You never get it.
Why not? That's why we need your support. You got a lot of power.
You will never get it.
You have a lot of leverage.
Let me ask you a question.
You get our support. We've been dedicated to you for a very.
That's your black representation. Ron DeSantis passed the hat for white supremacy. He's linking directly to the killers' crowdfunding. Meanwhile, over in black society, our representation talking about hell no. So let me get this straight. The white supremacists are saying hell yes, and over here in black society, they're saying hell no. Really? Hell no. If you want to know what a difference makes, let me make this very, very clear to you all. Ron DeSantis hasn't gotten a single federal law passed. He has not gotten even one federal law passed. And yet they got over $1 million simply because he was willing to stand up and speak out. All it took was for him to be willing to stand up and speak out and take a look at the resources that immediately start to gather. Take a look at the resources immediately gathering together. All he had to do was speak. All he had to do was stand up for white supremacy. All he had to do was say, hey, I'm just speaking out on his behalf. Everybody else took it up from there. Everybody else got his back from there. And the rest makes itself. The rest makes itself. When folks sit up here and tell you that we need to get a law and a commission and whatnot, no. The reason you're supposed to have representatives is those representatives rally the troops. Those representatives are supposed to rally the masses. The reason why our representatives can't rally nothing is because they don't speak for the rank and file. They don't speak for the black man and black woman on the street. The white supremacists have always been very good for speaking for their people. They have always been very good for that. They are always very upfront to speak up for theirs. Because trampling your rights, trampling your human rights is a full-time job. So they've always stood up for theirs. And I want you to take a look at this. This is how seriously white supremacy takes the right to murder us. This is how seriously they take it. This is how seriously they take it. By the way, my thing about this is I'm taking a look at this. You take a look at this, And you see who it says is created by, don't you? You see that, don't you? You see that, don't you? Yeah. According to this, the lawyers. This is how seriously they are taking their right to kill. They said, hell, let's just go straight to the damn source. Let's go straight to the source. Let's see if we can get that going. Jason, are you sure? Oh, I'm damn sure. I'm damn sure. Take a look. New York Post. You take a look at the New York Post. Headline, Daniel Penny should be celebrated for actions. Folks, do you hear how heinous this is? That you should celebrate someone for killing somebody. Now, you'll notice when Ashley Babbitt got shot trying to storm the Capitol building, nobody said that Officer Byrd, quote, should be celebrated. Now, folks weren't going around saying that he should be celebrated. Nobody said that he should receive decorations and he should be applauded. Nobody said he should be celebrated. We said he did his job. He did his job, but nobody said he should be celebrated for somebody being dead. That's not something you celebrate. Daniel Penny should be celebrated for killing this guy. This is what a race war looks like. The article says Daniel Penny, the Marine who placed Jordan Neely in a fatal chokehold, should, quote, should be celebrated for jumping into action, quote, for the benefit of others on the crowded Manhattan subway. His lawyer asserted in a new radio interview. By the way, the subway didn't look crowded that day, but all right. Thomas Kenneth made these remarks Friday night on WABC's Katz and Cosby show hours after Penny, 24, was arraigned on the charge of second-degree manslaughter, not even first, second degree. Quote, he didn't enter the subway seeking to harm anyone. How do you know that? Where's your proof? Has he been investigated to the point of finding out if he entered that subway to kill somebody? Because you see, when you're black, they go over your records. They want to look through your cell phone. They want to look through your laptop. They want to see if we can find some way of making this the most heinous offense with the most serious consequences and punishments we can devise. Where's your proof that he didn't enter that subway to kill someone? Where's your evidence? He just says he didn't enter it. Where's the proof? Show us. Quote, he was really putting himself in harm's way for the benefit of others. Folks, he snuck up behind Jordan Neely. Everybody said he snuck up behind him. Typical white supremacist coward. He snuck up behind him. This wasn't some fight for his life of valor. He wasn't some valiant white knight who came in and rescued everybody. He snuck up behind a fella half his weight. Snuck up behind him. This wasn't a profile of courage or valor. How much courage does it take to sneak up behind somebody half your weight and strangle them to death with your military training? How much courage does that take? Notice his lawyer isn't mentioning that. By the way, how courageous is it to sneak up behind somebody? Someone half your size and strangle them to death, and it took you 15 minutes. That's not a profile in courage, people. He was really putting himself in harm's way for the benefit of others. He shouldn't be pilloried for that. He should be celebrated. Kenneth told hosts John Katzmatidis and Rita Cosby. Penny placed Neely in a deadly chokehold aboard an Uptown F train on May 1st after the homeless man was observed, quote, making threats and scaring passengers. Now listen to this. The reality is that there is not a single living, breathing New Yorker, particularly anyone who rides the subways, who can't relate to exactly the sort of situation that my client and the other passengers on the train were confronted with, Kenneth said on Friday's radio interview. In no way, shape, or form did Penny seek to demean the victim in this case. He certainly killed him. Kenneth told the host his team is conducting a, quote, very active investigation that he said will absolve Penny of the charges against him. Quote, my team works with all retired NYPD detectives. Some of the best in the business, I guess this would be. Some of the best in the business, Kenneth said. Retired NYPD detectives. Think that over for a moment. We've uncovered a lot, and I think there'll be a lot more to come, quite frankly. Bullcrap. Here we go again. Oh, there's more to it than what you all saw in the pictures in the video. That's what he's saying now. Now he's trying that old sawbone. Well, the video doesn't show you everything. There was more to it than that. You can't just go off the video. Oh, see, we found a lot more. Why, there were things you all weren't aware of. You can't just go off the video. You got to take into account all the evidence. And we have evidence you haven't seen. Why, we've been looking into it, and we've uncovered a lot that the video doesn't show. What did you find that the video doesn't show, sir? Because we saw the video. What else did you find? Neely's family blasted Manhattan prosecutors for only charging Penny with manslaughter, arguing that the former Marine intentionally killed the homeless man. The legal team pushed for a second-degree murder charge. Penny had undergone extensive physical training and knew he was pushing the chokehold maneuver to the fatal limit, they argued. Which is absolutely true. He used his Marine Corps training not to incapacitate, but to kill. Quote, we knew that justice would not be swift. We realized that justice was going to be a journey, the lawyer said. Today, we are not going to stop until we have full justice. We are going to pause to recognize that we have taken the first step, a step in the right direction. The city medical examiner ruled Neely's death a homicide, noting he died due to, quote, compression of the neck. So the autopsy is saying that he died because he was choked to death. He died because he was choked to death. And you have many white supremacists out there, and New York City is infested with them. But you have many of them out there who are saying we need to buckle in to defend the next generation of them, to normalize this. So they see this as a severe spiritual battleground. That if they can help him get away with it, then this helps swing the pendulum back the other way. Understand something, folks. Kyle Rittenhouse. You're thinking about this is the Kyle Rittenhouse rule. This is the Kyle Rittenhouse effect. If you want to know what you're really looking at, this is the Kyle Rittenhouse effect in action. That you've got the right to go kill people, and the system will stand behind you. Let me tell y'all something. $1.3 million, that's the system standing behind you like a son of a gun. That's the system standing behind you like a son of a gun. And he didn't have to do nothing to get it. You've got whole governors. Let me tell y'all something. Who are the Democrat governors who stood up for black folk? I'll wait. Who are the Democrat governors who stood up for George Floyd? Eric Garner, Trayvon Martin. Who are the Democrat governors who stood up for Trayvon Martin? I'll wait. Another thing this puts in stark relief is the incredible need for reparations. We need reparations. This right here puts it into very clear relief why we need to have reparations, because white supremacy is well funded. They are completely funded. They are totally funded. They got their backs up one side and down the other. They are funded. You better recognize what that means. To be fully funded. They know what they're doing. And they got us at a disadvantage because they made sure that their folks are well financed. They get on code quick as hell. They're well financed. And black people being impoverished allows this kind of thing to go on. Understand something. When they passed the hat filled up quick. The hat filled up quick. Take a look at how that thing is going up just since I started the program. It was 1.2, now it's 1.3. Almost to 1.3 and a half. If you understand something, they didn't say send education. Get this through your heads. Hotep hobos. They didn't say give us education. They didn't say give us farmland. They didn't say give us cryptocurrency. They didn't say give us Bitcoin. They said pass the hat and send the money. They said pass the hat and send the money. Nobody was asking for Bitcoin, farmland, housing subsidies, free education. Every time they go to war, they pass the hat. And all they say is, man, if it ain't dollars, it ain't making sense. No, they didn't ask for gold neither. They didn't ask for gold, silver, platinum, bronze. They said cash money only. As they say, in God we trust, all others send cash. So if you want to know why it is important that we beat the drum for that, is because your political representation has been funded by the very people who are killing you. So on the black side, the black political representation is telling you, hell no.
Never get it.
Why not?
What reparations is. Y'all keep talking about a word. It means to repair.
It's cash. We cash payments for all.
Hell no. You never get it.
Why not? That's why we need your support. You got a lot of power.
I'm glad Brother James went there and asked the right questions straight up down so you can have James Clyburn tell you, hell no, you'll never get it. Now, he doesn't talk to gays that way. He doesn't talk to white women that way. He doesn't talk to illegal aliens that way. He doesn't talk to Latinos that way. He doesn't talk to Jewish people that way. He doesn't talk to anybody else that way. He only talks that way to black folk. Take a look at how sharp and in your face and disrespectful he is. He doesn't talk to black people. He talks to black people that way. Nobody else. Nobody else. That's the support that we got on the black side. On the white side, Ron DeSantis telling them, hey, pass the hat. And not only did he pass it, they showed up. Why would you pay this amount of money? People, if you think that this is a minor case, take a look at this. Over $1 million for a second-degree manslaughter case? What are you talking about here? What they're doing is saying that we want to win this case so that we can get the Kyle Rittenhouse rule enshrined. We want the Kyle Rittenhouse rule enshrined in New York now. White supremacy understands you got to take bodies. You got to kill people. You got to make bad things happen. You got to murder folk. You got to have some form of domestic terrorism. Nothing else works without it. You gotta have some form of domestic terrorism. And every once in a while, there's gonna have to be some black folk killed with impunity. You cannot preserve white supremacy unless there are murders with impunity. You got to be able to kill black folk and get up and walk. Well, Jason, why would they let them take it to trial? So that you can get acquitted so you don't face double jeopardy anywhere else. You got to do that. You're going to have to make sure that they get acquitted so that they can't be retried elsewhere. So this guy, as a former Marine, now he's just a lowlife, has gotten together with the lawyers and they're saying, okay, he understands what the mission is. Understand something. I want y'all to see that. He understands what the mission is. Think of it like a military mission. Okay, understand if something goes wrong here, you may be held behind enemy lines. Sit tight till we get you out. You may find yourself behind enemy lines. But when you have accomplished the mission, don't worry, help is on the way. So they've explained to him that we got this down to a paperwork process. So he understands, look, what's probably going to happen, you'll probably be arrested. Don't worry about that. They have you behind enemy lines. Don't worry about that. We're going to get together, and when we get done, we're going to get you some bull crap bail. And then don't worry, the lawyers are going to get to work making sure that you get off. The lawyers are going to get to work on that. You go home and have a beer. You let us take care of that. What do you need $1 million for? Folks, you need $1 million if you're going to go to the media. You need $1 million if you're going to talk to the media. You're going to need $1 million if you're going to have a media campaign. You're going to need $1 million to do that. You don't need $1 million to defend somebody on a manslaughter charge. You do need $1 million if you're going on a press tour. You do need that. You do need $1 million if you're going to be talking to a bunch of media outlets. You do need that. You do need $1 million if you're going to set up propaganda. You do need that. You can't get propaganda going on the cheap. Can't get propaganda going without a dime. Propaganda needs financing. So this isn't about fighting a manslaughter charge. This is about funding white supremacy. That's what this is about. White supremacy is not cheap to fund. It's not cheap to fund. But if you can return back to the bad old days of murdering black people with impunity, don't you understand, man, this ain't no money at all. When you go over there on my Twitter page, understand these are individuals. They see themselves as in a race war. All these Karens and Kens, Asian white supremacists, they see themselves in a race war. So if we can murder this black person with impunity, we are on our way to turning the clock back. How much is that worth to the dominant society? How much is being able to murder black people with impunity worth to the dominant society? To be able to get back to that and say that black people have no rights that white people are obligated to observe. How much is that worth? I submit to you $1.5 million as a drop in the damn bucket. Oh yeah, one more thing. To the dominant society out there, you notice that you all pay a white supremacist tax. Follow me here. They pay a white supremacist tax. So when they go and do these things, understand something, they're willing to pay the money for it. Then they'll turn right around and tell you that they don't have the money to pay you $1 million for reparations. Mic drop. They will sit there and tell you that they don't have the money to give you reparations. Oh, we ain't got that. Ain't got a dime for that. Ain't no money in the kitty to pay that off. We can't find that for you. Not for you, we can't. But for a random white man on a Tuesday who murders somebody on the subway, all of a sudden it's a blank check. How many of you want to say that if his folks said he needed $100 million? How many of you are willing to argue that he wouldn't get it if they said he needs $100 million? This is how serious the situation is. We'll take 100 mil. And they get it. And they get it. So I want y'all to just understand that while they tell, whenever black folks show up, oh, it's never nothing there. No, hell no, you can't get it.
You never get it.
Cash payments.
Hell no, you never get it.
You never hear that when they're talking to other people. When you're talking to them, oh, you can get it. You can get it. Everybody else, nah, not you. Talking to their people, oh, you can get it. You can get it. Don't let anybody tell you that the society is not flush with cash for reparations. They will come up with $1 million for a random white person anywhere who has carried out an act of utter barbarism. They'll be quick to start caking them off. Don't let anybody tell you what they don't have and can't do. When just the dominant society at a whim will start breaking bread on a whim. No precursor, no warning. Folks, he murdered the man last week. These people didn't have to say, oh, well, hey, let me get back to you on Tuesday now. Well, when the first of the month come, I'm going to hit you up. I got you the first of the month, please. They were just like, hey, where's the damn thing to gather? Where's the damn thing to contribute? Where's something we can contribute to? And here they came. So don't let anybody tell you what they don't have for reparations. Don't let anybody tell you what they can't do. Don't let anybody tell you what they can't make happen. Don't let anybody fool you into that. They're paying $1 million because they understand that this is a bellwether moment. If you put this man in prison for murdering a black person, that makes it easier to get all the rest of them. You've set a precedent and you can go get the rest of them. Now you've established that as the norm. And what they're showing you is how critical and serious this moment is to them, that they cannot let Daniel Penny lose. When you got gubernatorial candidates showing up for a guy in New York City, they're letting you know this is bigger than Daniel Penny. Folks, you don't get to raise $1 million and this is just about you. This is bigger than Daniel Penny. That's why his lawyers said every person who's been on the subway, and yet you don't see any white people who've been strangled to death on the subway. You don't see any, where are the white people who've been strangled to death on the subway? Didn't attack anybody, didn't touch anybody. Where are the white people who've been strangled to death? They understand this is not $1 million for a legal defense. This is $1 million for a spiritual crusade. This is a spiritual crusade to defend the ability to murder us in the streets. They want to make sure that we're setting a spiritual precedent. That just like black folk made it where you're putting all Kim Potter and the rest of these whites, Amber Geiger and the rest of these white supremacists in prison for harming black folk, we want to show we can start that again. This is spiritual. You don't pay $1 million to get somebody off of a manslaughter charge. You pay $1.5 million because you're trying to make a point. You don't pay $1.5 million because of manslaughter. You pay $1.5 million because you're trying to prove a point to somebody. You're trying to prove to somebody that this is what we do. This is bigger than Daniel Penny. That's what that 1.3 million means. This is bigger than him. That what they're doing, this isn't really about him. This is about something else. But this isn't really about him. This is about making sure that if you see this picture every week in New York City, understand, he's not saying that he was defending anybody's life and limb. That's not the argument that him and his attorneys are making. He can't say that because Jordan Neely didn't attack anybody. So he can't say that Jordan Neely was harming someone else, so he jumped in to stop Jordan Neely from doing it. What you're saying is that every New Yorker, every white New Yorker has the right to sneak up behind a black person that they claim was a threat and kill you. And that is what the law should be. That any random white person is deputized to snuff out a black person at a moment's notice. Understand, nobody is claiming that Jordan Neely attacked anyone. Do you all understand that? He got choked to death and didn't attack anyone. They claim he pushed somebody off of a subway platform. That wasn't what he did this day. Nobody said that he was in the damn subway car. He didn't lay a finger on anybody. Nobody is saying that he laid a hand on them. So if you're saying that he got choked to death, you can't say it's because he was hurting somebody or beating on somebody or strangling somebody or slashing somebody. You're saying that a black person that you see as a, quote, threat, as a white person, you are now authorized and deputized to snuff them out. What's the crime? He was a threat. He was a threat. Folks, remember what it said here. Nobody said that he touched anyone. No one. No one said he did anything. They're all claiming the same thing. He was making threats and scaring passengers. Let me tell you something. As a black male, don't you know you got folks who say you're scaring them simply by, quote unquote, looking in their direction? The Soho Karen, the Central Park Karen, what would they say? Because understand, you got laws now in New York that allow you to go after Karens. What are they trying to do? They're trying to say, oh, no. If a black male so much as looks at you, this is Emmett Till. If a black male looks at you, you can claim you were threatened simply by him looking. Well, he was looking at me in a threatening manner. Threatening how? Was he squinting his eyes at you? No. Was he bucking his eyes at you? Maybe. Understand, if you're a black male, just squeezing your eyes like you're looking angry, that can be seen as threatening. If you got your eyes bucked wide open, that can be seen as threatening. If you have your eyes closed, that can be called threatening. If you got your eyes wide open looking straight up at the ceiling, that can be called threatening. Think about that. Anything you do as a black person can be seen as, quote, threatening and scary. That's what they're saying. He was making threats and scaring passengers. In New York City, a place where giving folks the middle finger and threatening them is a second language. I've been to New York several times. They make me look downright like Mr. Congeniality. But now they're telling you that if someone is scaring other people, because it wasn't Daniel Penny, Jordan Neely was not threatening Daniel Penny. We know that's the case because Daniel Penny slowly snuck up behind him. So Daniel Penny was in no threat. He was under no threat, but he killed him anyway. So understand the argument that the lawyers are making. The argument his lawyers are making is that, yeah, if you consider a black person to be scary, if you consider a black person simply to be scary, whatever you define as scary, then you can kill him. Take notice to what I'm saying here. In the case of Daniel Penny, there were 4 people standing around. There were several people who assisted him in the murder. But you do understand that if you can get Daniel Penny off, then it makes it where now the next time it's just one-on-one. How many times have we seen black people here? Every time the Karens do something, they're by themselves. Karens don't make their racial accusations in a group. Did you all get that? Karens don't make their racial accusations in a group. Karens make their racial accusations when they're by themselves. Carolyn Bryant, the original Karen, made her accusation by herself. No other witnesses to say, yeah, I saw this occur to her too. So she wanted to be your word versus hers, which means that she says, I know I live in a system of white supremacy, so I'm looking for the system to have my back. Next time, they'll be telling you it was one person by themselves and that we are taking that one person's testimony as justifying killing you. Because that person thought you were scary. And you know what the NYPD would tell you? Do you know what the New York Police Department would tell you as a black person if a white woman stabbed you in the neck with a knife or shot you with a pistol? Do you know what the NYPD would tell you? They would tell you, well, next time you shouldn't look so threatening. That's what they would tell you. Next time you shouldn't look so threatening. You shouldn't look like such a threat. You should try harder not to look so threatening. Whatever threatening means to the person who accused you of looking threatening. You shouldn't look so scary. Next time you shouldn't look so scary. Please keep in mind they are prescribing a right to kill. That if a white person simply feels that you are scaring them, even, by the way, not even scaring them. Remember, he snuck up behind Jordan Neely because Jordan Neely wasn't even looking at him. So Jordan Neely was allegedly being scared, was scaring other people. Daniel Penny is being told that he can kill you on behalf of, quote unquote, protecting other people, even though those other people are not being attacked. That's what they're doing this for. That's what this 1.3 million is for. That's what his attorneys are arguing. That's what all of this is about. Can we kill you on a whim with impunity? Can any white person anywhere simply say you're a threat and wipe you out? That's what this is for. That's what this is about. That's why they're doing it. That's why. We're going to go ahead and take a very brief commercial, non-commercial break. Before we do, I want to thank everyone, and I do mean everybody who has contributed to support tonight's program on PayPal, CashApp, Super Chat, Venmo. Thank you very much for your support here. Shani, my man Chadwick, B1 Media is a lifesaver. Thank you very much for your support. And my man Mark B. We're going to take a very brief commercial, non-commercial break. When we come back, we'll be taking your phone calls and more. This is The Black Channel.
Spirit of 1811 Publishing presents, in a world driven by fear and hatred, lurks a fierce assassin, the Tarpon. Armed with an insatiable appetite for death and destruction, the Tarpon's mission is to target and eliminate anyone who stands in the way of white supremacy. Enter Occam Jeffers, the fearless counter-racist hitman, whose mission is to hunt down and eliminate the Tarpon once and for all. But the Tarpon is cunning and ruthless. Will Occam be able to stop the Tarpon's deadly plot, or has he finally met his match? The ultimate fight to the death begins now. God Love Us, a novel by Josiah J. Starr. In stores May 22nd, 2023. Everywhere books are sold.
Having computer problems? Is your PC or Mac running slow? Need help building a gaming PC? Having problems with your Apple or Android device? Call or text Fix Too Fast. We can fix common and uncommon computer software issues remotely anywhere nationwide from the comfort of your home or business. Are you having hardware issues with your PC or Mac? Ship it to us and we will ship it back fixed. Call 1-877-412-9890 or text 513-440-1646 to speak to a technician. Please visit our website at www.fixtoofast.net.
Order yours today to experience all the benefits of Ash Kickin' Natural Body Butter. With skin so smooth and soft, you'll thank us for it. Shop Ash Kickin' online. That's ASHKICKIN.com.
Greetings, brothers and sisters. My name is Joe Jackson. I'm a foundational Black American, and I entered the field of IT with the goal of helping the family globally. The industry's been changing, and I've learned a lot. But how did we get here? How do we navigate issues we face in the workplace? How can we get our house in order? Read The Concept and Intricacies of Being Black in IT, now on Amazon, as well as the best-selling Guide to Being Black in IT. Go to beingblackinit.com.
More Threads. A brand owned by a descendant of Black American freedmen was created to uniquely address Black American history and contributions that have been intentionally hidden and suppressed. Use their apparel and more to learn and share the Black American history of Black inventions, heroes, towns, Black business districts, and more. Sign up and support not only a Black-owned business but a movement at www.morethread.co.
Hi, this is Brenda Starr, creator of Poetry with a Purpose and author of the book Pressed But Not Crushed. Pressed But Not Crushed is an anthology of political poems that address current and historical issues in American descendants of slave population and African American population. The book describes slaveries and its residuals, Jim Crow segregation, social depredation, and other relevant issues to American descendants of slaves and African Americans, including the current political climate that does not address our issues.
This is The Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. And the telephone lines are now open. The number is 646-787-1933. That's 646-787-1933. Your personal access code to the Black media. Tonight we are discussing the right to kill. We are discussing the white right to kill. And right now, that's why I was showing you here that today, Daniel Penny's lawyers are not arguing that he himself was under any threat. They are simply arguing that he had the right to kill Jordan Neely simply because he was, quote unquote, seen as being scary to other people. He didn't physically attack them. He didn't lay a hand on them. And still, now they're saying even if you don't lay a hand on somebody, we can still kill you. We can still kill you. Even if you don't lay a hand on somebody else. Even if folks sit there and say, oh no, he didn't lay a hand on anybody. He was being threatening. He was being scary. So now we can kill you for it. Now we can kill you for it. Think about that. We're going to go ahead and go to the phone lines. Let me get caller from area code 240. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Trini Girl from Waldorf, Maryland.
Okay, Trinity girl from Waldorf, Maryland. What's on your mind? Okay, I hear an echo back there, so if you have speakers on, you need to turn them off.
I have the speakers off. I got to take your whole program off my phone. I was thinking that Penny guy, the white guy who killed the guy of the Metro, I was thinking maybe he was stalking the Michael Jackson impersonator and was reading him for a while and then did what he did to make a statement. That's my thoughts. What are your thoughts? That's what I think, because it doesn't make any sense, because everybody knew this guy until he came onto the Metro, and then the Penny guy, the white supremacist, did what he did to this Michael Jackson impersonator. What are your thoughts, Jason?
Okay, his name is Jordan Neely.
Right.
Not Michael Jackson
Mr.
impersonator.
Neely.
His name is Jordan Neely. His
the reason why I brought that up.
His name is Jordan Neely. Now,
the only reason why I brought that up is
as
because
far as Daniel Penny is concerned, it doesn't matter it doesn't matter the circumstances leading up to that. Although we certainly helps us to go check his background and see whether or not he has some other folks who would be targets in mind. The real issue here is that he is not arguing self-defense. That's the point. His attorneys aren't even arguing self-defense. So folks need to be very clear. They're not saying self-defense. It can't be self-defense when you sneak up behind somebody and put them in a chokehold for 15 minutes. That's not self-defense. There's nowhere that's considered self-defense. That's the thing you need to keep in mind. Don't get bogged down over, well, what was he watching him before, this, that, and the other, because those are things you can't prove. What you can prove is that he snuck up behind an unarmed man who was half his size with his Marine Corps training and strangled him to death.
Yes.
And it wasn't in defense of his life or anybody others, because there was no one who was being attacked and no one whose life was being endangered. That's the thing to remember. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Please turn off your speakers next time. Caller from area code 303. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Yeah, this is Gary calling from Covington, Georgia.
All right, Gary from Covington. What's on your mind?
Hey, first time caller. I appreciate your show. Let me say this. I did 12.5 years in the Marine Corps. That white boy ain't shit. You hear me? Because if he was about something, he would have at least put him to sleep and got out. I sat up there in the Marine Corps that time. I did 3 tours. 2 tours in Venezuela and 2 tours in one tour in, over there in Grenada. Them white boys in the military ain't shit. We used to be in that squad play and whoop they motherfucking ass. I'm sorry if I'm out of line on my speech, okay? But let me say this. From a warrant officer to a lieutenant to a sergeant, staff sergeant, them white boys ain't shit. We ran that squad, baby. You hear me? And I'm sick and tired of them talking about a Marine. He ain't shit. That white boy's a disgusting individual. You gonna sit out there and choke somebody from behind. I wish you would run up on me. It's just so sad that this media, I appreciate you, Jason. Man, I'm so tired of this media portraying this white boy like he's something. He ain't shit. That same white boy that you see on that screen I'm watching, he wouldn't roll up on no brothers in the Marine Corps. I tell you that. We ran that goddamn squad, but we used to whoop their motherfucking ass. Them white boys.
Well, he was certainly looking for a target that he could go after. He went after a guy half his size and snuck up on him. So basically, with all his Marine Corps training, the Marine Corps ought to disavow him. All his Marine Corps training, and the best he could do with a guy half his size is sneak up behind him. Thank you very much for giving us a call. That makes the Marine Corps training sound like it ain't worth very much. The only way Marine Corps training works, you got to sneak up behind somebody half your size. You got to sneak up behind him. What kind of training y'all doing? Call from area code 601. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Yes, this is Jeremiah from Jackson, Mississippi.
All right, Jeremiah from Jackson, Mississippi. What's on your mind?
Yeah, that guy's a maggot and a piece of crap, and I hope he gets his comeuppance. It's not in the street, in the prison system. I hope he gets prosecuted to the full extent and convicted. He put that gentleman in what was called a rear naked choke. I teach mixed martial arts, jiu-jitsu, boxing, kickboxing, all that stuff. Won North American grappling championships in Memphis, New Orleans, all over the place. Had national champions in there, had champions in boxing, went to the national golden gloves, all that stuff. So I know what I'm looking at. And this is why we got to train our salespeople. We can't be out here being victims. If he had a little bit of training, because I trained some small guys and had them whooping big guys. So the size thing, if you trained, that'd have been a big difference. Also, something you pointed out was the reparations piece. If Jordan Neely had his $400,000 or $500,000 or $1 million reparations, he could have had a home, and his family could have had the means to pay for the right psychological treatment. Because the brother was under a lot of stress because his mother, ironically, was murdered in a similar fashion, rear naked choke. And I used to bounce at clubs and stuff, and the guy's a coward. I put a guy in a chokehold because he was trying to break a fight up, and in the same choke, and he went out. People told me I didn't know he was out. I let go of the dude. I ain't trying to kill nobody. The whole point was to stop that individual from fighting other people. So I choked him out, and he woke up out of, thank God, I ain't trying to kill nobody. This guy is a coward. He came out here to, as you say, be a poster board for white supremacists so they can get off on these other crimes. So people in New York, we need y'all to do what Triple Six Mafia said in the 90s. Tear the club up if something don't go right with this trial. I mean, tear that mother down. I want y'all to march down to Staten Island, Long Island, all over Manhattan, and tell them this is our town. Y'all ain't gonna be doing this to us. And you need to write this old Uncle Tom, and I think Trump called him a coon or Uncle Tom, and he was correct. Call that coon up there in New York and say,
well, that DA Bragg, like I say,
at least murder too.
That DA Bragg is only concerned about these liberal white issues and whatnot. He has not been doing anything to protect black folks. So thank you very much for giving us a call. He's certainly in their pockets. Let me get called from area code 404. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Jen from Tampa.
Okay, who from where?
Jen from Tampa.
All right, Jen from Tampa, what's on your mind?
I'm Jason. I'm really happy that you're doing this broadcast. I had a friend, I went to school in New York, and I had a friend message me today talking about I disagree with the stance of Penny being in the wrong, and she's black, and she was saying how, like, you don't understand what we're dealing with. The mental illness is crazy. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, he didn't hurt anybody. He didn't put his hands on anybody. It's not illegal to be mentally insane. And so I'm happy that you're speaking to this, because I think there are some New Yorkers that feel like they're happy because, these people basically ravaged the train, and you know what I'm saying?
Well, yes, and absolutely, it's definitely a bad situation in that regard. What I'm saying, though, is the answer is not vigilante white supremacists out here. That's not the answer.
Exactly.
Here's the issue. The issue is you can assume Jordan Neely had mental or emotional issues. We can assume that all we want to. What I'm telling you is the Kyle Rittenhouse rule will allow them to go after anyone. So this is the pretext that they're using. What the real thing to keep focused on, that's what I'm telling you all the night, is what I keep hammering home. He's not arguing self-defense at this point. Daniel Penny is not arguing self-defense. You can't sneak up behind somebody and choke him to death and claim it was self-defense when nobody was attacking you. He's claiming that he's just got the right to kill you because we are afraid you could do something. We're afraid you could. Folks, New York City, stop and frisk.
Right.
I want you to combine those two legal notions together. That we've got the ability to kill you if we feel you could be a threat. Now we can kill you. Combine that with stop and frisk, and they've got a green light on any black person. Understand something. Jordan Neely was completely 100,000% unarmed.
Yeah.
He was unarmed, and everybody around him weighed a whole lot more than him. He was unarmed. So at this point, all you're co-signing is killing unarmed black people. That's it. That's it. Not even in self-defense. It's just, hey, I think you're annoying. You strike me as being very annoying. Now I can kill you. Imagine that kind of power and authority in the hands of your regular Soho Karen, Central Park Karen. Imagine that kind of authority in their hands, because that's what they're arguing right now. Thank you very much for giving us a call. Let me get caller Miracle 202. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Jason. This is Kenneth from Washington, D.C. How are you doing today?
Okay, Kenneth from Washington. What's on your mind?
Kemet. Yeah, Kemet. But nonetheless, yeah, I saw this too, and I just, one of the things that I study is essentially, kind of the changing economic conditions and it's the pending changes with automation and artificial intelligence and technology. And this is only the beginning of this, right? Because, what do you do with what have white people done with populations that they no longer need? They typically have killed them. And so essentially with them highlighting constantly in the media the violence that's going on in the cities and that, these black people are doing this and they're terrorizing and there's being, a nuisance and inconvenience. This is just a dog whistle to what it's become because of, them white supremacy, but also the changing economic environment. And they no longer need our labor anymore. So I just think, black people have to become aware that there are 60 million militias, white militiamen ready to attack. And essentially we are so disorganized that, this can be any one of us. And so I just think
definitely what they're doing here is think of this as a form of gentrification. When they show you that there are places that as a black person, if you're basically marking areas of Town Hill, you're marking the New York subway as a sundown town. That if you're a black person and you get on the New York subway, a white person can say you were threatening to them, and that is just cause to kill you. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. They're essentially trying to turn every subway car into a sundown town. A white person can just say, well, he was threatening, therefore I could do him in. He's threatening. Caller from area code 954. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yes, Aronde from Hollywood, Florida. Several points of observation here, family. Yes. Several points of observation here. First of all, since we're such a threat, when NFAC and the Panthers and the Deacons and everyone else pulled up, where was the fight and the courageousness and the rightful white supremacy then? I support the brother, Grandmaster Jay Ozone. I put up money with them. And if our people are not going to pull up, if they're not going to strap up, then get your donations up. And these idiots that were in the subway, I'm originally from New York City, born and raised in Harlem, and I lived in every borough in that city, and including New Jersey. For these folks to sit there and allow these three individuals to strangle this dude, not one of them stepped in to intervene. But yet, days later, they got on the subway tracks, right? And I'm surprised none of them idiots got electrocuted on the third rail. And here's the other thing that bothers me. You got Clarence Coon Clyburn talking about we ain't getting no money. And Judge Joe Brown is also talking about we ain't going to get it because they can't afford it. But yet they got money all the time. These cats turn around and support these European Jews living here in Florida. You got these Ukrainians and Russians and everybody else. They got money, brother. And you know how much these people are getting, per household and family? They're sponsoring them, and they even got the white community down here that they will give them a stipend to take these people in. So the money is definitely there. It has been there. So we got to stand up and pull up.
No,
and
definitely the money is there.
Our ancestry demanded.
Certainly the money is there. The real issue is about the will being there. That's the only thing that's missing now. It's not about the money. It's about, is there the will? Thank you very much for giving us a call. Let me get caller area code 484. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
My name is Damien. I'm from New York City, but I live in Pennsylvania right now. But I want to try to educate the people. I'm not sure if you covered this because I just got on, but I was listening. I was convicted in New York City of I was locked up for attempted murder and convicted of assault with a deadly weapon. Me and one other person was assaulted by 20 individuals. While they was jumping my friend, I stabbed one of them. The cops saw it, came, arrested me. New York has no self-defense laws, so I broke the law because they said I was supposed to use the exact same force that they was using against me, which was their hands. But there was 40 hands against our 4. They could have killed us. So me using a knife to protect us, I got convicted. If you remember just recently, there was a black dude that went into a store out there, got into a fight with an old Spanish guy. Guy stabbed him, killed him. The dude didn't have no weapons. They didn't convict that man. They didn't charge that old Spanish dude. They broke the law. Like, our cases are damn near identical. So this situation that's happening right now, he's not claiming self-defense because he can't. By New York City law, he can't. But they're helping him by creating this, talking about this homeless stuff. And the way he was acting, that man should be convicted of the highest degree. Like, wouldn't that be murder?
Yeah, that's my point. Is he's not claiming that there was a threat against him. That right there tells you everything. He's not claiming that there was any threat against him. He's not claiming that he was assaulted. He's claiming that we thought this guy was scary, and so I snuck up behind him stealthily and choked him to death for 15 minutes.
Yeah, and see, like the other brother said, that I don't believe those were any FBA blacks that was there, because they would have did something. It's not many of us left in that city. I grew up in that city for damn near 30 years. It's not many of us left. Most of them is from the islands. I grew up in Washington Heights. Washington Heights is all Dominicans. They got every store up there. It's crazy. When I first moved up there when I was young, it was a lot of black people. Over the years.
Oh, no, they've cleared that out all the way up to the bridge now. They've cleared that out of there now.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much for giving us a call. Let me get called from area code 626. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Logical Facts out of Champaign, Illinois.
Logical Facts out of Champaign. What's on your mind?
First of all, I wanted to compliment you on your last couple moments of truth, especially. I'm telling you, you've been throwing out some true fire.
Brother,
I appreciate that.
You have the wrong, sir. You have the wrong person. I don't know how you figured that, but we don't even sound the same. But you have the wrong person.
Well, no. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, then, pardon me, sir.
You got the wrong person.
I'm sorry. Pardon me, brother. So look here. This is what Then this is the other part too. Is with all of this stuff going on, this is all purpose. It should be second-degree murder at minimum, first degree actually, because if you hold a chokehold, and I know you've mentioned this, holding a chokehold for 15 minutes, you obviously know that the person is not going to live, especially if you've been trained in the military, especially if you've been trained in the Marines. So, and then with the other two people holding them down, they're not only accessories, but they get the same charges. So all three of them should be getting second degree at minimum, first degree at tops. And to me, it's like the way that all this is going to change is when black people, instead of just like the previous caller said, when they stop standing around watching it happen and somebody starts getting their head caved in, then they're going to start thinking about that. And they won't do that mess anymore. But as long as we are the people that are we shall overcome and hold hands and sing a song and, oh, we afraid of guns, they're going to continue to do what they do. So, you know,
you have to be the deterrent.
Do what you do.
You yourself have to be you have to be the deterrent. You yourself have to be the deterrent. It can't be another one there. If enough black folks show that we're the deterrent, they'll think twice before they try that. Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. Shout out to Trini Girl to the Bone for contributing to tonight's program in the super chat. Excellent broadcast. I hope so. Let me get caller from area code 310. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brother Jason, it's Jeff Brown. How you doing, man?
My man Jeff, what's on your mind, brother?
Hey, first, as I speak as a black man always, second as a United States Marine, that the thing to watch here is how the media is using Marine. They are using Marine to play you. Look very closely at where it says he is a decorated Marine. This is what it takes to be a decorated Marine. Stay in 3 years and don't get in no trouble. And you get a national service ribbon. You're decorated. That means nothing. They don't tell you what the decorations are. Two, if this was a mass shooting, if this was a white person of some importance, the fact that he is a Marine would play against him. His PTSD, he's deranged, he snapped, as Marines are known to do. They are playing this. They are playing. Watch the strings that white supremacy is playing. The rest of this is moot about if it had been us and what they did. Bruh, from this point forward, this is about what we won't do. Here's what we won't do. We will not demand the names of the black people in that card. We will not demand as black people in this country that we turn our backs on them in at least 3 of their generations forever for this. We will not refuse to go to work as a group of people. Everybody, tomorrow, don't go to work until these men have their charges upgraded to murder. We won't do that. We will not, they will not come up missing like they would if that was an Asian man, or if that was an Armenian man, or if that was a Jewish man, because those people are allowed to handle their business on our own. Blacks are only allowed to kill the enemies of whites. And this is what that's about. How many more times we gonna let them push us in our chest, Jay? That's the question. This I say all the time. If I am ever in public and you put your hands on somebody black, we're going to start the revolution up right there. And I'm not Superman, but I want to see it.
Well said. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight, brother. Let me get caller from area code 646. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
PBA, Anthony from Queens, New York.
Anthony from Queens, what's on your mind?
So you mentioned on a previous broadcast that the white supremacist society is basically, they've thrown away all the pretense, they've thrown away the smoke and mirrors, they're just coming straight up the middle white supremacy, murder, killing, and just straight up, going to the courts and just throwing out all the cases or just finding all these killers not guilty. And in terms of the amount of money that they were able to raise, we as black people, we've shown the ability to raise that type of money, but we always put it in the wrong things. We always fund BLM, and look what they did with the money. We always fund things that really aren't beneficial instead of putting that money into black empowerment.
I'm pretty sure most of the money for Black Lives Matter was actually contributed by white people. Because, that was a white-led thing there, with George Soros and crew. So, pretty much sure it was led there. What I will say, though, is that if you really want things to change, which things are, by the way, that's the reason why they got raised so much money. You don't need to raise $1 million if you're dealing with a disorganized people. I want you to update your files, everybody. You don't need $1 million to overcome a disorganized group of people. You need $1 million to overcome an organized group. You need $1 million to deal with an organized group of people. You don't need $1 million to deal with a group of folk who ain't got their act together. You need $1 million to deal with folks who've got something together. Otherwise, you can knock them off with $100,000. Hell, you would never go to court. You'd never go to court. Let's be very clear. 10 years ago, this wouldn't even made it to court. It wouldn't even made that far. So I would recommend everybody, I understand, sometimes folks feel some kind of way or think some kind of way about it, but doing the math, just doing the mathematics on this, you don't have to get together $1 million, $1.3 million if everything's running smooth. You need $1.3 million to get the train back on the track. That's not a little bit of money. You need that kind of money to get the train back on the track. Brother, this is a second-degree manslaughter case, and we talking O.J. Simpson Dream Team numbers now. Think about that for a few moments. This is supposed to be a simple second-degree manslaughter case, and you talking O.J. Simpson, Johnny Cochran, F. Lee Bailey Dream Team numbers for the legal fund? That you ain't doing that if everything's going the way it's supposed to be going. You need that kind of money to overturn what's usually going to happen. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. You need that kind of money if you're going up against what usually happens. OJ was going up against a system that usually convicts black men. You need a bunch of money if you're going to sit up here and fight something like that. You need a bunch of money when you're fighting the status quo. You don't need a bunch of money if you are in the stream of the status quo. You need that kind of money when your legal team has gotten together and said, hey, we way outside of the status quo right now. We're going to pull out all the stops. This is not going to be a cakewalk. Caller from area code 319. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
My name's Adonis from Des Moines, Iowa.
Adonis from Des Moines. What's on your mind?
I'm just sitting here thinking, it's like on my way to work every day, on every median, on every freeway ramp exit, there's some white person begging for money. They run up to your car, tap on your window, and you never hear about anything like this happen to any of them. It takes me 15 minutes to get to my office from my house. And I'm sitting here thinking I was able to lay out what I wanted for dinner, what I had to do for the day, when I might want to go to lunch, what I might want for lunch. That's a long time to choke somebody and a long time to think. And the picture of him choking it looks like he's looking the guy in the eyes to see when he's going to expire, These are just thoughts that are running out of my head. I just wanted to get them out there.
You're absolutely right. He wanted to make sure this was a killing, not self-defense. Caller from country code 447. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Good morning, Jason. It's Brother Jeff from the UK.
Brother Jeff out of the UK. What's on your mind, brother?
My man, brother, I'm incensed. Greetings, my condolences to Mr. Neely's family. Yeah, also, shout out to Jeremiah from Jackson. I agree with him totally, Jason. Blacks have to defend themselves now because I'm sick and tired of hearing this mess. I'm saying now, just as an African man, I'm more angry at the African man that stood by, which will be strangled. I'm more angry at him than Mr. Neely's killer. The African man's cowardice was complicit in my brother's killing. I'm more angry at him than that white devil that killed our brother. Hope that makes sense to you because I'm sick and tired of this cowardice, which enables people to do what they do. It's outrageous. That coward African super watching his brother, brother being killed by that depraved degenerates, Daniel Penny. It's got to stop. That's why our continent's in a mess. Because most of our people are cowards. People go to Africa with Lebanese, Arabs, and they do what they please. Because most Africans there are cowards. They run to the USA, bring the cowardice to your country. I'm incensed. Really.
I don't blame you, brother. That was hella off code, and the real thing is that just makes you an easier mark for the next time. You got too many people who are trying to see if they can scatter around like roaches and make it from point A to point B before something happens to them, as opposed to recognizing, hey, we ain't supposed to be living like scurrying like roaches, because eventually they always come to get you. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me get caller from area code 240. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
My name is Dwayne. I'm calling from Nesis, South Carolina.
Okay, Dwayne, what's on your mind?
What's on my mind is this. This is simply a refinement of white supremacy. I believe the fact that he's in the Marines, that smoke and mirrors, it does not matter. What we're seeing now is, if you look back at Trayvon Martin, the fact that he had on a hoodie, he was considered to be scary. He was considered to be possibly dangerous. Brother, before you talked about the fact that, and you talk about this as well, that at the end of the day, if the color of our skin makes us dangerous. And that's all that it is. All we have to do is get our house in order and stay on code in order to overcome white supremacy. Because this is simply a refinement. That's what we're witnessing. and everything else that they're throwing into the mix is mere confusion, simply put.
Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me get caller from area code 703. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Mike from Alexandria.
All right, Mike from Alexandria. What's on your mind?
So this hits really hard and hits really home with me because, one, I was in the Marine Corps, and two, I have a schizophrenic brother in San Francisco who gets arrested. If you know anyone that's homeless or schizophrenic, they get arrested all the time because they're identifiable. You know, you can see them. And to see people like defend this is insane to me. And I joined the Marine Corps at a really crazy time in 2012. So when Trayvon Martin was happening, Freddie Gray. So I saw so much white supremacy there. It was insane. I saw people donning Nazi flags in their rooms. And when it would be brought to leadership, they would just laugh it off like, oh, that's just Gerald. Like, it's not a big deal. And then the other thing today, you were explaining how they're spreading their money supporting this. So I went on Instagram, and I don't know why this dude, some white guy I served with, who I thought was cool, but, you know, they show you who they are. He was sharing in his close friends links saying, oh, if we lived in a just system, he would have never been released. And I called him out for that. And then he tried to get to explain, and you know how they do. He tried to get to explain and say, oh, it's not about race. It is about race because, like you taught us, all right, when you bring it to him, so I could choke out a white woman that's acting crazy, right? I could kill a white woman that's acting crazy. You know.
Yeah,
so,
you know, they
yes,
back down
you know,
real quick when you say that. Remember, if you saw my film Race War, you saw when I talked to Jerry Taylor, he was all in favor of, oh, there was nothing wrong with George Zimmerman following Trayvon Martin in a car with a gun. And I said, so if that was a 15-year-old white girl, you would say the same thing. Well, that would be different. So, yeah, they back off of that and change their tune real fast as soon as you say, oh, good, so we can start chasing white kids down the street now. Wait a minute now. So thank you very much for giving us a call. Let me get caller from area code 804. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Ben, Richmond.
All right, Ben in Richmond. What's on your mind?
I'm trying to figure out. The media has backtracked a little bit. At first they were saying he was threatening. Now they're saying he was disruptive. In essence, they still can't quite put their finger on what our good brother did to warrant this strangulation. What, you know, I'm still trying to figure out. And another thing I'm trying to figure out is why he hasn't been charged with murder.
Because the DA is not charging him with murder. So Alvin Bragg is too worried about chasing Trump around. Meanwhile, you got white supremacists out here strangling folk in the streets. So that's where that's coming from. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me get caller area code 702. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yes, my name is Kevin Fromm. I'm a Volvo truck driver from Houston, Texas. I was basically trying to highlight what the other brother said. I was also in the Marine Corps. Holding somebody in a real naked chokes for 15 minutes, he knew what he was doing. We always taught that within 60 seconds, you can kill somebody. Either you let him tap out or release. For him to hold him for 15 minutes, he knew exactly what he was doing. He wanted to spy their brother, and he wanted to kill him.
I mean, among the white
doubt
supremacists,
about
y'all got to understand there's a reason why among the white supremacists here, that's why I was showing you all at the beginning of the program here. When you go on my Twitter page and you see one after another defending this, when you see that what they're telling you is they know what they're doing, when you see the shoelaces and everything else, no, that's not accidental. This was a racial sacrifice. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. They're letting you know this is a racial sacrifice. They're here to commit genocide, and this is a racial sacrifice. So they're here to reestablish that as the de facto law of the land. Caller from area code 501, you're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from? Okay, caller from area code 501 has been abducted. Caller from area code 646, you're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hello? Eric Taylor out of Shreveport, Louisiana.
Okay, take your phone off of
in the
speaker.
Bronx right now. I'm Eric Taylor. Let me cut this all right. I'm from Shreveport, Louisiana. I reside in the Bronx, New York.
All right, Eric from Shreveport, what's on your mind?
All right, my thing is like this here. So out of everything that's happening, I mean, we started talking and talking and talking. So like, what if somebody like was to go hit up? What if somebody was?
Okay, Eric is having some issues with his phone or himself right now. I'm not sure which one it is. Let me get caller from area code 703. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hello?
Yes, you're on live. Put the crack pipe down. What is your name? Where are you calling from?
It's not a crack pipe. It's a meth pipe. But it's Tiffany calling from Shreveport, Louisiana.
Okay, that's not a Louisiana phone number at all.
Yeah, well, that's where I live right now.
Okay, I don't believe that. I think you are the Asian twerker who called up last week.
Asian twerker? Oh, my goodness. I'm not Asian and I don't twerk.
Let's go ahead now and let's get the crack pipe fired up. What's on your mind, Tiffany?
Meth, not crack. Yeah, I was just thinking, so now that black people know who it is, it reminds me of Trayvon Martin all over again with the guy, I forgot the guy who killed Trayvon Martin. But, black people know who it is, but they don't do anything about it. And I just think, instead of just being reactive to everything, black people just need to be a little more proactive because,
Because it's excellent strategy. If I was going to be quote unquote proactive, what I would do is get on the public internet and announce it to an international audience. So you're a brilliant strategist. You really, really are. If I was getting such a strategy, I would broadcast it to the entire world if it was me.
I'm just saying black people need to be.
All right. Well, I'm going to be proactive and get you out of here. Let me get one more phone call here. Caller from area code 773. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Yeah, Jay, this is Bill calling out of Chicago.
Bill out of Chicago. South side or west side?
South side, bro.
All right. What's on your mind?
Yeah, Jay, just kind of a little bit of deep and everything. But, as I was looking at the picture as this day walker was choking the brother out. I want to know, what do you think, what do our women, when they see this picture of this day walker or Agent Smith, I would like to call, choking out one of her son or husband, I want to know what you think is the echo effect.
Well, I think more important is they want to see what you're going to do about it. They want to see if everybody's going to be on code. They want to see if there's going to be an effort made. So that's the thing that they take a look at there. If the answer to a white supremacist system is a black empowerment one. So the real thing is when something like this happens, does everybody get on code? They shocked the hell out of everybody here. Everybody got on code about this. The media got on code with the white supremacist killer, but the community got on code with Jordan Neely. Because remember, they weren't arresting the guy at all, remember? They let him go. Hey, we're not going to arrest him. So when the media tells you they didn't know who he was, remember, they released him. The police were like, oh, we're not going to arrest him or anything. They had his information. Think about that for a few moments. They had this information the whole time. Then they let him go. Then folks raised a ruckus about it. Then they went back, okay, we're going to go ahead and arrest him now. So that's called being on code. And what they're looking for is to see whether we as a group are on code. Thank you very much for giving us a call. Let me get caller from area code 718. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
TJ, Brooklyn.
Okay, TJ from Brooklyn. What's on your mind?
Okay, I'm responding because they wanted me to answer for my comment when I talked about the problem in the black community is that we don't have no police. Black Lives Matter defunded our police, and we don't have no security in the subway. That's why people have to defend themselves.
Ma'am, nobody defunded the police anywhere. There hasn't been.
Yes, they did.
Ma'am,
Yes, they did.
ma'am, that is not true.
Everywhere.
Ma'am, that is a lie and not true. The New York City Police Department has been cut in no way. You cannot show a single thing that says ma'am, you cannot show a single thing that says the New York City Police Department budget has been cut.
Your Black Lives Matter people talk about defunding the police all day.
You cannot show anything that says that the New York Police Department's funding has been cut.
The advocates from Black Lives Matter rehab the city, work with the city, remove the police service.
Ma'am, you cannot show, ma'am, for the last time. You talking about crazy people? You yourself kind of qualify. You cannot show a single piece of evidence that says, ma'am, there's not a single piece of evidence that says that the New York City Police Department's funding has been cut in any way.
You sound just like the Democrats.
Ma'am, ma'am, you're lying because that didn't. Ma'am, you're lying. That did not happen. Their budget was not cut. So you got to get a different lie. You're gonna have to, ma'am. You got to come up with a different lie.
That's why the woman got beat down. Where was the security? She got beat down. Where was that?
She got beat down. Okay, ma'am. The New York Police Department's funding has not been cut. If you don't think there were, ma'am, be quiet. If you do not believe that there were adequate police officers in the New York City subway, that is because the officers have been redeployed. That's because the resources have been reallocated to other areas, not because the New York Police Department doesn't have the funding. Yes, ma'am. You can
have evidence?
Ma'am, you can Google right now New York Police Department attrition rate. That's a good place for you to start. I know attrition is a big word, but you might want to look it up. You can look up the attrition rate.
I know what it means.
Ma'am, you can look up reallocation because they reallocated a bunch of officers to deal with quote unquote violent crimes, which is why in New York City, for example, they stopped going after people for marijuana, because they wanted to concentrate their resources on, quote, violent crimes. Now, that's not a matter of cutting funding. Ma'am, that's not a matter of, ma'am, that's not a matter of not having funding. That is a matter of the police department's priorities.
Okay, listen, you could go by the white man reporting of the funding.
We're going by the New York Police Department itself.
I'm a New York City resident.
You don't, okay, and what knowledge of the funding do you have? And what is your knowledge of the funding?
You on your own.
Ma'am, what is your knowledge of the what is your knowledge of the funding of the New York Police Department?
I'm going to tell you my knowledge as a resident of New York City, Brooklyn. You on your own. You go out there, you better be ready
so
to
in
fight.
other words, you
better be
have
ready to
none.
scrap.
So in other words, you have
I
none.
lived here for 40 years. You better be ready to scrap. I ain't talking no mumbo jumbo. I'm talking real.
So you're saying that you're ready to. So you're saying that you have to be ready to fight. You have to be ready to fight to live in New York.
Get on the train.
Okay.
You take that subway. You're gonna be by yourself.
Ma'am, are you ready to fight?
I'm always ready to fight because I always had to survive.
Okay, so
I'm a girl.
So you're ready to. Okay, so you're telling us you're ready to fight on the subway?
All the time.
Are you ready to? Are you ready to fight, ma'am? Are you ready to? Okay, but are you ready to fight at Times Square?
I'll fight any goddamn where, anywhere.
Okay, are you ready? But are you ready to fight at the Statue of Liberty?
What the fuck's the Statue of Liberty got to do with me?
Okay, but are you ready to? Okay, but are you ready to fight at Joe's Pizza?
What are you talking about, Jason? What are you talking about? What the fuck is Joe's Pizza? What is that? I ain't no fucking tourist. I ain't no tourist. Get out of here with that.
Okay, sounds like you ain't ready to fight then. Because I don't think you ready.
Listen, y'all can listen to Jay Show. You can listen to somebody live in Brooklyn. You on your own. Take that subway. You on your own. Good luck.
Okay, but are you ready to fight at Rockefeller Plaza? That's the real question. Are you ready to fight on 34th Street in front of Macy's? You claim you hard, but are you ready to fight where it matters? Are you ready to fight down at Gino's Barbecue and Grill? That's what I want to know. You say you've been fighting all your life, but I'm trying to figure out, are you ready to fight down at Showtime at the Apollo? Third row. Fifth column. 9 p.m. right before Sandman. Speaking of the mentally and emotionally ill in New York City. Caller from area code 919, you're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hello, Jason. This is the Insane Optimist, Chapel Hill, North Carolina.
All right, Insane Optimist was on your mind.
I just want to add this to the conversation, man. As best as I can remember, those stops are less than like maybe 2 minutes apart from where he got on the train to where the actual murder happened. So theoretically, unless the train was moving at a snail's pace, he was choking that man longer than it took for the train to get from point A to point B, which means once the doors opened, what kind of danger was there for the other people who were on the train? That's why you don't see anybody but them on the train. And that one person who's standing looking with his arms folded, he's just curious. He's gloating. He didn't say anything. You got probably a bunch of people standing on the platform wondering what's going on. Most of them probably have just come down into the subway to board the train. Once they figure out these guys aren't cops, a savvy New Yorker like the guy who spoke up said, hey, you're going to hurt him. You're going to kill him. A lot of the undercovers, you know it and I know it, they wear their badges underneath their clothing. Once they engage, they pull that badge out. Again, the savvy New Yorker saw it and said, hey, these people aren't cops. I'm going to say something. More people should have said something. He was choking that man much longer than it took for that train to get from the point where Jordan got on the train to Broadway Lafayette. I know that area well. I used to spend a lot of time downtown in that part of Manhattan. So that's what I wanted to offer to the conversation, and I hope that's brought up. More time, more information should be given to that. Unless that train
definitely.
was having problems.
Yeah, definitely. It wasn't a situation where it was just going and whatnot. It's like it's going and stopped, and we're killing them the whole damn time. That's too much time for it to be traveling. So anybody who's been on the subway know it doesn't really run for that long like that. So like I said, I mean, definitely that's what we're saying is that they had them off by themselves. The car wasn't really crowded like that. They had them off by themselves, and they were just like, okay, we're going to have a lynching. This is the way it always goes. They thought they were by themselves. They thought they were in safe company. They thought they were going to be able to get away with it. Let's just call it for what it is. Let me get caller from area code 352. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hello, can you hear me, sir?
Okay, if you speak, we can. What is
Hello?
your name? Where you calling from?
My name is Pastor Don G, CEO. I'm calling from sunny Mesa, Arizona. I'm a first-time caller, but I'm not new to the Blog Talk Radio family. And I just want to say Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there in radio land under the sound of my voice. I want to wish you a successful year. This is the year of Michael Jordan. It's time to make a change.
Okay. Well, it's not New Year's, but they're in the eggnog already. So, well, folks, definitely, like I tell you, this is what we're looking at here now. They are saying, hey, we got the right to kill. No, it's not self-defense. If we think you're scary, we can do to you whatever we want to do to you. In New York, you can't have a gun, but you can choke black folk and you can lynch them. You can't have a gun, but you can lynch people. That's the name of the game now. We're going to go ahead and wrap things up here tonight. If you are new here to the Black Channel, welcome to the Haven of Intelligent Black Thought. We do this every weekend. Click that red subscribe button. Click that yellow notification bell. Join us each and every time that we're here. If you haven't been to our website, blackchannelfilms.com, you want to go there and check out our groundbreaking, best-selling documentary work, 7 a.m., Gentrified, Race War, all available on DVD and streaming. Go to blackchannelfilms.com. That is blackchannelfilms.com. I want to thank everyone who has contributed to support tonight's program on PayPal, CashApp, Super Chat, Venmo. My man Michael Johnson, the struggle continues. Thank you very much for your support. We appreciate that. Mr. Rich Berg, big shout out to you, Najee, Ryan, and everyone else who has contributed to support tonight's program. Thank you all for tuning in, liking, sharing, and subscribing. And this concludes tonight's broadcast of The Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. And until next time, my brothers and my sisters from around the world, remember, black is the future, and the future is uncompromising.